Up to this point, the jobs that we've seen have been done by a lineman working from an insulated bucket truck. However, because of location or obstacles, some gloving jobs may have to be worked on from the pole. Remember, a wooden utility pole is not considered to be an insulator, so gloving a job at higher primary distribution voltages may require the rigging of an insulated platform from the pole for the lineman to stand on while he's working. The requirements for the safe use of this type of platform, which is often called a Baker board, vary between companies. So after viewing this part of the program, be sure to check on the specific procedures that you will be expected to use when working from an insulated platform. Okay, let's join a crew in the field. This crew has been given a work order to replace a damaged dead-end insulator on a three-phase feeder. When they get to the location, they park and secure the truck and walk over to look at the job site. The job site is some distance off of the road, and it cannot be reached easily with the truck. As the crew holds their tailgate session, let's take a minute to examine the job site and see how the job will be done. This is the pole that the crew will be working on. The two outside phases dead end on a close construction steel crossarm. The insulators on one outside phase have been damaged and will have to be replaced. Since the bucket truck can't be used, the job will have to be worked off of the pole. Two linemen will climb the pole and install an insulated platform at a point just below the neutral. This will put the broken insulators just overhead when the lineman stands on the board. During the job, one lineman will work from the board and the other lineman will remain on the pole. Once the area is covered with rubber gear, a hoist will be rigged between the phase conductor and the crossarm to take up the strain on the conductor. Then the insulators can be unpinned and replaced. When the crew is finished planning the job, they begin laying out and inspecting the protective gear and equipment that they will use, including the insulated platform. The insulated platform that this crew will be using has a fiberglass board with a collapsible railing. The board is attached to the utility pole with a separate metal bracket. The board has a smooth band of fiberglass designed to provide the full electrical clearance needed by the lineman. When working on primary lines from the board, the lineman must always stay beyond this band. The condition of the insulated platform can affect how well it will support and insulate the lineman from the ground. So the platform is carefully inspected to make sure that it is structurally safe and wiped down to make sure that it is clean and dry. Once the tailgate is finished, the first lineman climbs the pole to the neutral and begins to install cover gear. The neutral and the guy wire are both covered with line hose, and the neutral insulator is also covered with rubber protective gear. Before the platform is installed, the end of each phase is temporarily covered to protect the lineman. Since he is still working from the pole, the lineman must keep a safe electrical clearance from all equipment energized at primary voltage. So cover gear designed to be installed with hot sticks is used to cover each phase and insulator. Finally, the top guy wire is also covered with line hose. Once the installation of the board is complete, one lineman climbs out onto the platform from the pole. As he moves onto the platform, he is careful to avoid contact with other equipment. When he's fully on the platform, he belts off onto the ring at the end of the platform railing and moves out on the platform beyond the smooth band of fiberglass. This position allows the lineman to maintain a safe electrical clearance from the pole as he works on the primary lines. Pole guard is installed on the pole between the fiberglass board and the crossarm to prevent accidental contact with the pole as the lineman works. Following his company's procedures, the lineman replaces the hot stick line cover gear with rubber line cover gear in the immediate work area before rigging to replace the broken insulator. The lineman on the pole continues to assist the lineman on the board by providing the equipment and materials as necessary. Both of the linemen make sure that the lineman on the board is clear of all conductors and cover gear before handing equipment back and forth. When the two phases within reach have been covered, the lineman can begin to rig a strap hoist between the crossarm and the phase to support the phase while the insulators are replaced. A link stick is attached to a web sling rigged from the crossarm. The link stick will provide extra insulation between the energized phase and the metal crossarm. The crossarm, the link stick, and the sling are all covered while the hot hoist is installed. The line hose is slid back on the outside phase so that a wire grip can be positioned and locked in place. The hoist is attached to the wire grip and the web strap of the hoist is connected to the link stick. The slack is taken up on the hoist, and the hoist is used to take a strain on the conductor until the string of insulators buckles slightly. The hoist, the strap, and the conductor are covered with a blanket, and the conductor is tied to the strap of the hoist so that control of the end of the conductor will be maintained after the conductor is disconnected from the insulators. The blanket covering the insulators is unpinned and flipped over so that it covers the hoist strap and the link stick. This uncovers the insulators. The outer end of the insulator string is disconnected from the conductor, and the blanket is repositioned so that it covers the conductor as well as the web strap and the link stick. The two damaged insulator bells are unpinned from the remaining good bell and are replaced. After the damaged insulator bells are replaced, the string of insulators can be reconnected to the phase conductor, and the hoist can be let out and removed. All that remains is for the lineman to remove the cover gear and the insulated platform. The protective gear is always removed in a way that affords the greatest protection to the lineman. As he removes the rubber gear from each phase, the lineman replaces it with the hot stick cover gear. The protective gear is removed from the top of the pole and the crossarm next, and then the outside phase. Well, in this part of the program, we've seen one example of a gloving job done by a crew working from the pole rather than from a bucket truck. While the details of this job differed from the ones we've seen, it was accomplished by using the same basic guidelines for safely working on distribution lines while wearing rubber gloves. Throughout this program, we've seen many examples of rubber protective gear and how it is used to make your job safer. First, we took a look at the types of rubber protective gear commonly used when gloving a job. The rubber gear was divided into two basic groups: personal protective gear, like rubber gloves and sleeves, and line protective gear, like line hose, blankets, and hoods. Then we saw examples of how rubber protective gear is inspected in the field, and tested and inspected in the laboratory. Finally, we watched the replacement of an inline switch, tying a three-phase feeder on a new pole, and the change-out of several bells of a damaged dead-end insulator. In each case, the crew followed their company's safety procedures. Remember, on the job, no safety guideline will work without one more important element: you. By staying alert, using common sense, and following your company's safety procedures, you can work on overhead distribution lines safely and efficiently.